everyone, Amanda here. Welcome back to my channel. So in the last video I showed you how I use Procreate and Silhouette Studio and the Silhouette machine to cut and make my stickers. And today, since so many of you also own Cricut machines, I'm going to show you where the Cricut differs from the Silhouette, and I'm going to show you how I would make my stickers in Cricut, because I have used my Cricut machines to make stickers before. So we've got dogs going around in the background, we've got all kinds of things happening here, but we're just gonna go with it. So I am not going to walk you through the actual design process of the stickers. We are going to make the exact same sticker sheet that we made in the last video. So I'm going to make this kitty cat sticker sheet again, and I'm going to show you how I would make this in Cricut. In Cricut, and I will show you the differences between them. If you would like to see how I actually draw out and design these cute little kitty cats, then go and check out the how I make stickers in Procreate and Silhouette video, and I will link that in the cards and in the description and everything, so that you can get to that as soon as we're done with this video. So where we're going to pick up with this video is at the very end of the design process, and I will show you then how sending the files to the Cricut and using the Cricut design space just differs slightly from using Silhouette, and we will make a new sticker sheet. So let's get into the down view and I will walk you through the differences. And before we do get into the down view, let's get the business out of the way. So make sure you are subscribed, to hit that subscription button down below and the little notification bell so you are informed each and every time I upload new content. Okay, so while you're down there, hit that little thumbs up button too, because it's helpful. Alright, now let's get into the down view. Okay, so here we are in our down view, and we are exactly where we left off in the last video. So our doodles are done. We are ready to go for the most part. Now, this is the file that I transferred over into Silhouette, but we have to make a couple of adjustments here in Procreate in order to get it into Cricut's design space the way that we want it. And because the design space is a little bit less advanced, it's more intuitive and easier to figure out, but it is less advanced as far as its capabilities. We have to go in here and we have to create the cut files, or the cut lines, before we send it over to Cricut. So in order to do that, I'm going to grab white. I'm going to close down my sticker sheet layer and add a new layer on top of it, and then I'm going to go around and make a white outline around each of these little elements in the way that I want it formed as a cut line. Really simply, I'm gonna make sure that I have got a decent sized pen, and I'm just gonna make a white border around this cat. And this white border is going to be what forms my cut line. You want it a little on the thicker side, because the Cricut is also not going to be as precise a cut as the Silhouette, and Cricuts are known for being a little finicky as far as their cut lines. Now I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to drop some white into that layer so that you can see that that layer is full. Now I tried to turn off the color layer, but that didn't work out. Okay, that is the area that my Cricut is going to cut around. So that is what my end sticker is going to look like. Everything inside of the white is going to be what is cut out by the Cricut. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that for each of these little elements, and then I will see you back here for the next step. Okay, so here we have the white border on each and every one of the stickers. Now you'll notice that I had to adjust the spacing of the paw print, so you'll need to take that into consideration if you have a Cricut. So you want to make sure that you give it every opportunity to not cut your design. So you want to give it a thick enough border to where even if your Cricut decides to go off a little bit, it still won't cut into your design. So we've spaced those out just a little bit more than we did in the previous version, and that will work fine because we allowed plenty of space left over on our sticker sheet. So just keep that in mind when you are designing where you want things on your sticker sheet as to where the border is going to be. That is it for this, and now we're going to move the files over into Cricut Design Space. And that is really easy from here because Cricut Design Space is a web-based platform, and so you can transfer the files here on the iPad, or you can transfer the files to your computer. I'm going to throw the files over from my iPad here, and then we'll actually do the designing in Cricut Design Space. So what I'm going to do is I have turned on the background layer, which is just white, and I'm going to turn off the actual stickers, and I'm going to save the background first. You can save it as a PNG, you could save it as a JPEG, you can save it as whatever. It's going to come out with the background, and I'm going to save that image. I'm actually also just going to go ahead and throw it over to my Mac as well. So that is the first image. You need your background image because we're going to have to throw two files over to Cricut, the background and then the actual stickers themselves. Alright, so we've saved that image. We're going to turn off our background layer. We're going to turn back on our cut lines, and I actually see that I didn't fill everything in. We need to make sure that they are all white. That is what it is going to attempt to cut. So that looks good now. We're going to turn our actual stickers back on, and we're going to turn everything on the background off. And we're going to take our stickers and we're going to save those as well. So I'm going to save that. Now we are going to go into Design Space. So here's my Cricut Design Space. Alright, I'm going to open up a new project, and I'm going to come down here to Upload. I'm going to hit Upload. I'm going to select from my photo library, and my photos are right here, these two. So here is our sticker file. Want to make sure it looks nice and clean, and since we saved it with a transparent background, it should be no problem. We're going to hit Next. This is the actual cut file itself, so this is where the Cricut is going to cut, and if you need to refine any of your edges, this is where you would do it, but we're good. And then we are going to save it as a print then cut, because this is what we're going after here, and I'm going to put cat doodles and name it. So that is highlighted in green. That is what it is saving. Alright, now we're going to do that again, and we're going to do that with the background layer. So here is our cat doodle sheet background layer. We're going to hit Next. It is going to cut the big rectangle, which is exactly what we want it to do. And here we have that. So we have got cat doodle, and then I just put BG behind it because that's what background is for me, so it's easier to type out, cat doodle background. And now I'm going to show you, because it's just easier to maneuver, I'm going to show you how to set up the cut file in Cricut Design Space on the computer. So we're going to switch back over to the camera view. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space. We are in a new blank canvas. So this is what it looks like. And we are going to go to this little upload button. And here are our stored images. We are going to shift and click both of them and hit insert images so that we can pull those images into our document. Now they're going to come in whatever order they want. I'm just going to throw this one down the bottom. And I am going to size them the way that I want them. So these are a little bit big for me. I'm going to select both of them. Okay, so because these files come in at the same size, I'm going to select both of them. I am going to group them together for now, and I'm going to resize this group to the size that I need, which is 4.5 by 6.5. That will make sure that my images inside here are still proportionate to the sticker sheet that I created. now I can go in here and I can ungroup the items so that I can move them around. And I'm going to grab my cat doodles and I'm going to move them onto the sheet where I want them. So this was where they sat originally. I'm going to move them ever so slightly and get them as centered as I can, and then group them again just to where they are together and they're not going to move independent of each other. So that is the actual file itself. But because Cricut does not have a blade setting that can do multiple cut depths at once, we're going to have to trick our machine. And in order to do that, we need this shapes tool. We are going to choose the square option, and we are going to resize this square to be the size of our sticker sheet, which is 4.5 by 6.5. If yours is different, by all means make it whatever size you want your sticker sheet to be. So now we have our group and we have our square, and we are going to center those together. So where it says align, we're going to center horizontally and vertically. You can also click the center button, but I like to do both. And we're going to go up here and move our square behind our group. Because the Cricut will kiss cut, we need the square duplicated about 4 times so that it makes 5 actual cuts around the cut file. So we're going to duplicate our square several times. In fact, we're going to make our square 4 times. We're going to put them down here, and we are going to line them all up. We're going to select everything again, and we are going to align it. So you can use the center button as well. That lines everything up nice and neat, and we're going to put all of those items in a group as well. This is just a good practice because you want all of your things to move together, and because we want 2 sticker sheets on 1 piece of paper, this is how we're going to work it out to where that it cuts the way that we want to. Alright, now we're going to take our little rotate tool here, and we are going to spin this to the side. We're going to bring it up here. Doesn't really matter where you set it on the page, but we are going to close our group down, and we are going to hit this duplicate button again. So it is going to give us an exact copy of our group. And we are going to shift it down. So we're going to take everything and we are going to center it horizontally just to make sure that it lines up nice and neat. And in Cricut Design Space, I'm not 100% sure, so you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but you've got about a 6 3/4 inch by 9 1/4 inch space to work with, which is one of the limitations to Cricut and how they do their registration marks. So you want to make sure that your longest side is less than 9 1/4 and that your short side is less than 6 3/4, I believe. So this should all work, but before we go to our make it button, we need to select everything, which we have both of our groups here. We're going to select them, and we're going to go down here to the bottom, and this paper clip is going to say attach, and we are going to attach those. That is a very important step so that it knows that it is all together, it is all part of the same document, and won't try to split your document into 2 pieces. Now we're going to go up and we're going to hit make it, and you'll see the difference in registration marks. So it brought everything in together. It has got our cut file, it has got the registration marks, and we are going to be ready to print. So this big black border is what you have to fit inside of on the Cricut machines, and that is their registration marks. That's how they know what's going on when you hit it into the machine. So we're going to print 1 copy, and we're going to go down here and hit continue. It will connect to your machine. You're going to send it to your printer. I take the bleed off. I don't use the bleed. And we're going to hit print. Because this is web-based, it does take a second longer to actually go to your device. Next thing that we're going to do is set our material. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is set our material. That is the next step, and I am going to go down here and use paper sticky note. That is what I have saved in my favorites. So if you don't have this saved in your favorites, you can go to browse all material, go up here to the top, and type in sticky note. I find that that is a good setting for this paper. So hit search, sticky note, and you can save it to your favorites by clicking on that little star there. That is what we're going to use. I'm going to set our default here. You can set it to more or less, and that slightly changes the pressure, but not by anything significant that I find. And then you're going to load your tools and your mat. Now, you want to make sure that your mat looks exactly like the one there. So I'm going to hold this up for you really quickly. We're going to line it up the same way that we did the silhouette. You want it up here in the top corner. The top is up here. You can tell because it says Cricut. You can put these in actually either way. So just as long as you line it up in the top left hand corner and your design is facing the same way that your design is facing in that little thumbnail, you will be fine. And then you're going to load it into your machine, and then you're going to click the little arrow buttons, and that is what we're going to do next. I'm going to load this into my machine, and I will show you the printing or the cutting of it. Alright, so my Cricut machines are slightly more out of the way for me, but we're going to make this work. So you see the little button is lighting up over here. We have got this lined in, and we're going to push that little button, and it's going to load into the Cricut machine. And once it's ready to go, there is another little button that is a little C, and it's blinking over here. We're going to hit that button, and it is going to start to print or cut for us. Okay, so we are done. When you see this little light flashing, it means that it has finished the cut for you. It also says that it's 100% complete over here on the screen, which you cannot see right now. We are going to hit that button and unload. And I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what we ended up with. Okay, so turn the camera back around. Here is our sheet. We are going to peel it up off of the Cricut mat and see how we did. So Cricuts are notorious to do what they want, but if you sort of set the file up nice and simple, it should be fairly easy to do. So the border is off. It cut through the way that we wanted it to, so 5 is a good number for the outside cut. And here we have our kitty cat doodle sheet. So these should be nice and kiss cut as well. It went through without tearing the paper. So here we have that. And for this instance, it looks like the little lines didn't cut off any of the design. So put this up really closely, and you should be able to see all of the little cut line borders around this. Some people who run Etsy shops and only have a Cricut use a different color on the backing of their sticker paper, printed on there so that they can see the white border very clearly when everything is print out. I just don't like to use that much ink if you're not going to be able to use it, so I keep mine on a white background. But there we have our kitty cat. So perfectly good solution to only having a Cricut machine, and this is how I would do this with the Cricut. So we have our 2 sticker sheets for that as well. Alright, so that is going to wrap it up for today's video. This is how I use my Cricut and Procreate to cut stickers. In the next video, in case you're wondering, if you're curious about starting an Etsy shop and you don't know what sticker maker to buy, then I'm going to go over the pros and cons of both machines, the Silhouette and the Cricut machine. So I will compare those and let you know what I think on both and which one that I would go with personally, but that will be just my opinion. You can take all the pros and weigh them up against all the cons of both machines, because they both have pros and they both have cons, and make the decision for yourself. But that will be the next video in this little series on how to make stickers. Alright, that is going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you so much for watching. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a big thumbs up if you found it at all helpful. And yeah, until next time, bye everyone. I love your faces. I will see you then.